Hey ladies and gentlemen, Christoph the Polish Geek, and welcome to another movie review. And this is the third movie review from vacation, because this is the third movie I've seen, Gran Turismo, and it's by far the best movie of the last three movies I've seen in the cinema. Like both Blue Beetle and Last Voyage of Demeter very much disappointed me, but Gran Turismo was actually a pretty nice surprise, and I really enjoyed myself on watching this movie. Gran Turismo is not the movie I was really looking forward to, because I never played any of the video games, because I'm not really into racing games. Racing games are not really my thing. I did play a few racing games with friends sometimes, and yeah, maybe even one of them was Gran Turismo. Yeah, that's how little I am into racing games. I don't even know which ones exactly they were. So yes, as a result, I was never into really Gran Turismo, because racing games aren't really my thing. But when I heard this is the movie that's not exactly based on a video game, it's more like... But the movie was actually a biographical sports movie that simply involved Gran Turismo game. So when I heard about that, that got my attention. And I was much more interested in the movie afterwards. And I have to say, I was pretty entertained and had a really good time while watching the movie. It's not like anything particularly great or groundbreaking, but it was certainly a solid movie, and certainly the best one of the last three movies I've seen in the cinemas. Like, the story was pretty interesting, and I was hooked in and was really interested to what happens to the characters. The story of the movie is pretty predictable, but a very pleasing one. It's like a classical sports story, like a main character races against an opponent and we all know who'll win it all, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, Jen Mardenborough, a main character of the movie, and a real-life person who really exists, is a huge fan of Gran Turismo, and it is his dream that he could race in real life like he does in a video game, and then his dream comes true and he becomes an actual car racer. And when you learn that this is based on a true story, and not just like loosely, no, this is actually based on real-life events, it somehow makes it even more interesting. So, the executive of Nissan car company decides to gather all the best Gran Turismo players from all over the world and get them to race each other. And of course, Jen Mardenborough seizes up as an opportunity for his dream come true, and he becomes one of the racers. And as I said, the plot is fairly predictable. We of course root for Jen Mardenborough, and yeah, it's fairly predictable plot, as you can imagine. But as I said, it's pretty enjoyable one, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the performances are really good too. The best by far, I think, though, is David Harbour, who we all know as Jim Hopper from Stranger Things. And he's, I think, phenomenal in the role of Jack Salter, a former race car driver who agrees to train all the video gamers in the actual racing. Understandably, because these are technically not professional racers, they are just like video gamers who love racing in a video game. He's very reluctant about it, and he isn't sure if he actually wants to train them, but he reluctantly agrees to do this. So yes, I think David Harbour as this guy is by far the best performance in the whole movie. Jack Salter, believing that gamers cannot really be transformed into true race car drivers, nicely reflects actually in Jan Mardenborough's character arc, as he goes from a gamer to a true race car driver, and this is really wonderful payoff. Where the movie does suffer, though, in my opinion, is the racing sequences. Like the final racing sequence, for example, was actually when I was most bored during the movie, and I did actually even once took out my phone to look how much left I had to the end of the movie, because yeah, the racing sequences are technically the climax of the movie where you should really be most hooked in, but in this movie I think they left a lot to be desired, and as a result I think they were actually the worst part of the movie. Like in many other racing movies or sports movies in general, you actually feel the character's skill, you truly feel their struggle. But in this movie, it feels like Jen's skill as a driver is more talked about than actually shown. So overall, I think Gran Turismo was a really entertaining and solid movie, with a really interesting and engaging story, but the racing sequences leave a lot to be desired. So ultimately, I don't think Gran Turismo is a great movie, but it's certainly a good movie, the best of the last three I saw in the cinema, and I think it's totally worth your time to go and see in theaters. So that's my opinion on Gran Turismo. Good movie, no, not great, but a really good time to go see in theaters. So, thank you for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later, bye!